Joining me on the program, my guest has starred on stage early in her career, performing in productions like The Wiz and The Crucible. She has appeared on fan favorite TV series like Blue Bloods, Law and Order SVU, and most notably, Orange is the New Black. She's also appeared in the Academy Award winning film Precious. She's also has right now has founded a family owned and operated production company called Andujar Productions, where she has expanded into some new ambitious projects. So joining me right now is actress, singer, dancer, producer Stephanie Andujar. Stephanie, thanks for being on.
Thank you, Jorge. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So I want to go and start off really based in New York City. I've had the chance to talk to a few other people that are really doing things right now with the pandemic, and it's one of the things I really want to just focus on is just what's going on within what you're doing in New York City, and also just take into all you've done as an actress and as you've done in a lot of different performance areas, just to get a feel for those that are looking to aspire. I want to really get the kind of story out of there, and just what I love is that the direction you've taken, where some people, when you're going through Hollywood, you're going through the route that goes through New York. I've always noticed of the actors and actresses that are making their way through, getting the auditions out there, going to so many different shoots, just to work consistently. But then, taking the initiative to go on your own and spread out and really take your talent to another level. That's one of the things we talk about here on the show, just to give you the heads up, because my thing is it is an issue between corporate versus creative. The idea of, there's a digital disruption that's coming into us right now, and we've had it for over a decade. The thing is, what you're able to go and do to perform, to entertain audiences, whatever it might be, through singing, what it might be through just some kind of performance, comedy, drama, whatever it might be, that it doesn't have to be relegated to mainstream establishment. You have to watch it on a TV screen. You have to watch it on a movie screen. There's just so many different ways to catch and really just to attach to your audience. That's what I really wanted to delve into in this interview. So first off, you spoke with Authority Magazine, and you told them, quote, "I dealt with certain industry folks that would tell me certain things to try and break me down when I needed them to help me big me up. It added just more fuel to my passion to keep going because everyone wants to get to some level in their career. But for me, it's always been about my performance and making my fans feel something with whatever I do. I realized not only should I have a thick skin in this business, but all I can do is my best and leave it in God's hands." So I wanted to go and give me like the idea of what you've dealt with just as in the climb of working in the field that you love and the back and forth you've dealt with.
Yeah, man, it's definitely been a journey. It's
Yeah.
not been that easy. I mean, anything you want to venture out in life to do, it's you're gonna start out victorious in the beginning, but then there's gonna be tests along the way to see how committed and how passionate you are to attain your goals. You know what I'm saying? To attain your dreams like that. And I came across certain industry folk that, like, for instance, there was another former, because I had a couple of managers, but I guess it was about the second manager I had. And I remember trying to get agent meetings, and she
Yeah.
said, well, Steph, it's not that easy. You're not drop dead gorgeous, and you're not this, you're not that. And I just looked at her and went, you're my
Wow.
manager. Like, you know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Like, you're one of my managers. Like, you're not, what's up? You know what I'm saying? Like, first of all, you should be nurturing your clients. And
Yeah.
actors need confidence. Even Al Pacino said that in one of his interviews, because I'm a big fan of Al Pacino. And I remember he said actors need confidence. They need to feel that they can play these characters and whatever have you. But that right there was something that I said, I don't want to toot my own horn and be like, I'm drop dead gorgeous, but I know I'm not ugly either. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Like,
you have fans that absolutely find you amazing. I know. And the thing is, it's the encouragement to get that confidence. Like if you're not even sincerely encouraging your client, then what the fuck are you doing there for? How are you going to best
exactly.
represent that client? And the truth is, I mean, we see, it's for a lot of Latina stars. Okay. My family's Cuban. So the idea of the thing is just for reference, but anyways, we see a lot of different men and women that are of different character actors that have a distinctive look. That's what brings you to the camera in the first place. And most importantly, you want to be able to have somebody that looks and relates to everyday people out there. That's why it all works out. Like, listen, I mean, That's the reason why Danny Trejo or, I mean, guys like that are able to go and get work because there's a look to them, something distinctive that stands out. And they always find work because it just can't be where Hollywood is all pretty faces. It's just not, because some of those are just getting
Exactly.
lost in translation.
Exactly. I agree with you. It just boils down to the talent and boils down to the character you're playing. If there's a character that's meant to look like this and you happen to fit it, then there you go. It's not, like you said, this business is half and half. Half where they have to appeal to the aesthetics, half to where they have to appeal to the talent. That's what I've learned coming up. So even when someone like her would tell me that, or somebody else is saying, oh, you could always lose 5 more pounds. That's a big thing in the industry. Oh, you could lose 5 more pounds. If I'm already like 120, lose another 5 more pounds. You're like, what do you want me to do? Get down to 90 pounds? And then what else is going to be left of me on the screen?
Right, right. But
Saying?
I'll tell you like this too. So Orange is the New Black is one of the places you were best notable, Little Rosa. And the thing is, that show, you're talking about every actress there, no makeup, looking, as natural as possible. And it was a totally acceptable thing. We just all like, yeah, it's real. It's prison. You're supposed to look like that. And even the fact of, even when they portrayed everybody in the flashbacks, everybody wasn't like overly dolled up and looking super pretty. No, it was everyday people, and it worked. And that's something we see more on than off. And I think, and this is something I've been asking for some other people right now, is because of the pandemic. I think that actually benefits, actors and actresses that are just natural looking, that do not need the glam or the pomp and circumstance. Because when you're sitting behind Zoom calls now, you can't work at the moment for the last 8 months, then that only works for you, only to your benefit.
I agree. I think that's why Orange was a success when it came out, because they didn't care about, we got to make our actresses or actors look glamorous, or, put on this ton of makeup. I remember even on the auditions, they were like, don't wear a ton of makeup. Don't come in looking all dolled up. Just come in looking like yourself, because this is what we want the viewers to relate to. And it worked. If you're in a prison and you're playing prisoners and cellmates and stuff like that, they're not wearing makeup every day in real life like that, man. And that's why it was relatable. And now a lot of content is being, washed down with like, let's put that glamour back. And it's kind of like, so then don't say later, oh, why didn't this series work? Or why didn't this movie
Right.
work? Why? Because you either didn't hire the right talent, or you went for a certain aesthetic just to please some other, executive or something. I don't know.
Right.
That
Corporate suits that are out of touch and outdated for a long time. And that's what's happened. And I'll tell you just a little tangent. Gingy Cohan, to her credit, I've watched Weeds full Glow, which unfortunately is canceled. I hate to hear that happen. But no, that and Orange, honestly, something about the way she puts her shows together is just fantastic. And honestly, it's one of those things where she's a director that I will watch just about anything she puts out.
right.
Really just stands out like that. And I love that, and the thing was also, it was the diversity of the talent pool they had on that show was great. Like, I love the Spanish contingency on that show. It was just fantastic.
Right. Yeah.
It was good stuff. Now, I want to go and move along. You did find your way into some significant film and TV products. And I always notice, for me, I'm a big fan of Law and Order for a long time. The old school Law and Order, SVU, and the Criminal Intent. And I always thought it was just that pipeline of either just New York-based stars that were always around to like work roles for whatever that procedural episode is for that day. A lot of Broadway stars go to that route. A lot of actors and actresses trying to make their way up. You were in there early on, and there were a good amount of actors, like I see, that just find consistent work on various projects there. Take me through the grind that you went through from auditions to on-screen acting, working down in New York City.
Yeah. I remember I was at Pace University because I graduated from Talent Unlimited High School. I came from there, majored in drama for 4 years there, did a lot of theater. And then I went into Pace University to get my business degree. I wanted to do something different. I didn't know if I wanted to, keep on acting, but for some reason it kept calling to me. So while I was trying to go this way, it kept saying, no, we're going to bring you back this way. So I auditioned for Law and Order. And I remember I went in with clothes under my t-shirt to make it look like I had a fake belly. And then, some boots and stuff like that. And I went in there and they thought I was really pregnant too. They were like, "Are you really pregnant?" I was like, "Well, is this gonna really get me the part?" And I said, "No, I'm not really pregnant. If I really was, I wouldn't be here. I think I'd be more concerned for my child." But I ended up booking that, and then that was my first foray into it. And right then and there, I got the experience of what it was like to be in a trailer, all the waiting that was going on set that I never knew before. So now the glamorization started going away. And I said, oh, this is a real job now. Like this ain't just me showing up in front of the camera being cute, like this is real work now. Then after that, Precious came up. It was called Push at first, and then they named it Precious later on. Then when that audition came up, I remember I had to deliver my headshot in person for the first round. It wasn't even just bring your headshot out, you get your audition. No, they wanted it hard copy at the time, not even and there were emails at this time, but they didn't want that. They wanted an old school method. So I went. Then finally, when I got the audition, I went walking in the rain. I remember it was downpouring rain that day. I went to the audition. Every other girl was like in the bathroom, drying off their clothes, drying off their shoes. And so I just stood in the waiting room there, drenched as ever, but didn't let it faze me. Then I went in and met Lee Daniels, the director, and he really was blown away by my audition. And I did something right there, and he added me to the cast. And, it wasn't that I went in saying, oh, this is going to be an Academy Award movie. I'm going in for this. I want to become a star. It wasn't like that. I was just happy. When I read it, I knew it was good. I even knew it was going to win Sundance. Like, maybe that's the Boricua in me. We just got good intuition. I don't know. But I say, this is going to win because I hadn't seen something independent and real and authentic in a long time. There was always a gap between good independent films that have been really good that you'll remember. And then there's a gap of like cheesy movies or just whatever movies. Then finally they come back to that raw talent you hadn't seen in so long. And I just knew Precious was going to be one of those hits. I had a feeling. But I actually thought it was just going to go to like HBO or something like that. And then I was going to be happy with just that. But then when it got the accolades it did and the recognition it did, that was amazing. I was just happy that a story like that could be told, Then after that, it was just more auditions, more some auditions that maybe I didn't think was going to pan out. And then finally some stuff that did pan out and just kept on going and kept on going. And that was, it's funny when you go through the auditions, at first you're like, oh, got it. But I enjoyed those moments of just going to an audition, like taking the train or walking to an audition, because you felt like your foot was in the door and it just felt good to be recognized for your talent, even whether you got the audition or not. It just felt good.
I want to ask you about on the set of Precious, you obviously had a chance to go and work with the star, Gabrielle Sidibe, which also the epitome of somebody that breaks the Hollywood narrative and works so well. Like, I mean, for myself, I love American Horror Story, and just great acting chops, and just really just somebody that you want to is so likable, and really just pull away. Taking a movie like that just breaks out a star like that, and all of a sudden, and it relates because everybody wants to go see. It's that then you're on the ride. I want to see this girl be as high up in the stars as she can because she's a star, and like so proud of her. That's just great stuff. And with that said, you have that journey and you enjoy it, but not everybody gets to feel that way. A lot of actresses, you just feel like, well, I just need to put money on the table. But the thing is, there's something more to you. It's just a matter of having the passion for it, where it's always you're challenged, and you just like, okay, I'm in this environment where I should be intimidated, and everybody else thinks they know better than I am about where I need to be and what my role is on the set. So what is it that you do yourself to keep yourself, level-headed?
I think that's why I created my own content. I created my own content because like I said, it was never about becoming a star or getting famous or nothing like that. It didn't start for me like that. I always just loved performing. And that was what it meant to me. You know what I mean? Just to keep on showing my abilities and sharing them and showing that, look, if there's someone like me that can do this, why not someone else? Because there's a lot of other boys and girls out there that want to act and stuff like that, and they want to get it together. And I think what keeps me level-headed too is you got to stay grounded in this business. Like this business can kind of be an illusion at first. You know what I mean? Like you're thrown certain things, and then they want to keep you kind of feeling like you're always going to be on a roller coaster and you're going to ride that wave. But they don't tell you the roller coaster sometimes ends, and then you got to go on another ride now. Like,
right. But you're also willing to push back.
Yeah.
You have to. And honestly, I always feel like, and you tell me if this is, I'm from the outside looking in, but just looking at Hollywood, looking at the media itself and entertainment, that it is a corporate fit. I mean, it's still, you have corporate people that are just, they have, this is the way all things always been done. And we're doing things like we did back in the day, but it's like, you have to push back, push the narrative and just buck the system a little bit. But then if you're confident about what you're doing and you're not intimidated by what's going on, that you do move ahead. Because I think you had to be kind of a fighting, scrapping kind of an actress in order to go ahead and get the part you got.
Yeah. That people can go in first, and there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of people that like to be competitive, a whole lot.
Right.
And I think what got me successful, in my opinion, was I didn't come in like that. I didn't come in, this is mine, this is mine, this is mine.
Right.
I always felt like if it's for me, it's for me. If this role is meant for me to play, I'm going to play it. And I'm going to play it to the best of my ability. Even when I've gone to auditions, I remember, like, for the Precious One example, I remember going in and it called for the character to be dressed in all black. And I remember seeing all these other girls dressed in all black. Everybody was, suited to that character's style. But I could even tell who was maybe right, who maybe wasn't right. Because you can just tell, a lot of these businesses, we're looking for certain girls, but all right, we'll look at a plethora, even though we know we want a girl that's 5'5", maybe just a slim build, but we'll look at this girl, we'll look at that girl. We'll just, we'll have options.
Right.
And I already could tell. And I said, you know what? It's just, let me leave it in God's hands, because that's how I really am. I'm really, if it's for me and it's meant for me to play, then I'll go and play it. But I'm not going to beat myself up later like, oh, why didn't I get it? You can't take this personally either in this business. You really can't. No. You can't take anything personal, because it's not always personal. Decisions are made for certain reasons. So all I can do is just create my own content, you know what I mean? And put out what I think is cool.
No, so you have the right mindset when you're doing it. And honestly, one of the things, and I want to move along with what you're doing right now in your own production work, but I want to ask you, because of when I go into IMDb and I look at what you've done in your career, what you've worked on set, a lot of dramas. You have Blue Bloods. You have, Blind Spot. You also featured in. The thing is that there was obviously the idea that these producers, these directors, always had like a place where they kind of might have pigeonholed you, not looking at you and see what your range could have been for something else.
Exactamundo. That's exactly, because this work is about, when they're casting you, they're usually looking at your past resume. They're looking at your past credits and, okay, well, did she play a criminal before? Well, then, yeah, let's put her for this role because she knows what it is to. Did she do this? Okay, let's put her for that. So then when I finally said, you know what, I want to create something. I need to show that I can do a lot more. I can be funny, I can sing, I can dance. And these people are not going to know this unless maybe they see you in a showcase, or if they see you in a theater piece or on Broadway or something. And that too is rare. So let me just put it out there and show people what I can do, man. And also for my fans. It wasn't even just to appease the execs and nothing like that. It was really to have something to show my fans, because I have fans out there. I'm always getting letters from Europe or even from here in the States. And I said, you know what? People are loving my show. I just did another interview before this one. And he mentioned how he loves watching my one-woman show just because it gives him something to escape to and laugh. Like I said, that's exactly why I made it, man. So thank you for that. Like,
and now the thing is too, is that I always see, when you see certain performers, comedians always, there's a lot of them have made that transition to drama, but I never seen anybody really do from drama to comedy. Not always too much. So I want to ask you about the fact that you now direct, produce, edit, and star in your own comedy sketch series, Steph A, one-woman show, and you're playing many different characters who intertwine with each other and shaping your upbringing in New York City. You've also started producing music. I saw some of the videos. So it's all on the banner of your family's production arm, Andujar Productions. Talk to me about putting on all the hats of a project and what it's like to work with these projects with your family.
Sometimes, some days I tell you I want to pull my hair out. because I can't do it all. Like I'll
Puerto
just be
Rican
like,
family,
oh,
right? So
it's my family too. You know, family people always think like, oh, you're working with your family. How must that be? Like, because you know, when you go on a vacation with family, sometimes it could be like, oh my goodness.
yeah,
But working with your family is kind of the same way. But what I like about it is that they're more honest with you. If
oh, yeah,
something doesn't work, they'll tell you, and they'll be like, no, I don't know if this is gonna work, Steph. I'll do this, Steph. No, maybe try this. My sister was the one who told me, why don't you make a one-woman show? At first, I didn't know if I wanted it to be on the stage or maybe just do like a 1 hour kind of like something there with Steph, a one-woman show. She said, no, do episodes. You're going to have to keep. I said, okay, that's a good idea. Let me do that. Let me try, you know? So I grabbed my phone because I only had my phone at first and I just
right.
wanted to get started. I said, I'll use my phone then because if I could film with this and then just edit and I'll get it together. And then that's when it started just to go into a bigger effect now after just creating so many episodes, and the equipment got better, the lighting got better, the sound started getting better because I started getting better by editing. And then I got more respect for what it was for an editor and a writer and a director. I got more respect for them too, because I'm
Right.
here editing sometimes till 4 a.m. Like, I don't even care what time it is. Time has no effect on me. I'm like, I don't care if it's 4 or 5 a.m. I'll sleep when I'm ready to sleep. As long as I get this out, I finish the product. Because it's like when you cook a good meal, you feel happy after it's done. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
you feel
yeah.
good and you're like, oh, this came out so nice. But then you devour it. And that's kind of how I feel with everything I make, you know? But working with my family is it's not a bad thing, man. If anything, I like that. I like that they could give me critique, like give me criticism, but good
Hmm.
criticism. Because some people, you know, like maybe that aren't your family, they'll want to kind of critique you but kind of put you down at the same time. And you're like, are you doing what I'm doing? Are you don't know what it's like. You only see the finished product. You don't know what I go through to film all these things. I
Right.
nearly hurt myself to do my own stunts at the same time. I just threw myself
Wow.
in the middle of the street the other day as one of my characters. And I was praying and hoping because my mother was riding a bike with a GoPro attached to it. So I said, Mom, just ride the bike and I'm going to, you know, kind of
Hmm.
fumble behind it and do my thing. She said, okay. I didn't tell her I was going to fall in the street because I knew she'd be worried. So I was like, just do it. So just fall real quick. I fell right in the middle of the street, you know, on purpose. And then I thought I heard a car zooming on the block. I got up so fast. As soon as I got the fall, I went, whoa, is there a car? Okay, no, there was no car. So thank God. But it came out perfect. And this is what I do. I sacrifice a lot to create art. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that's what this is at the end of the day. It's just me sacrificing a lot to be able to produce and do my own content,
And
man.
you're working with people that have your good intentions, that
Exactly. Yeah.
are
I
going to be
got my
critical
back.
of you.
Yeah.
And then also, something to be said about learning about being that full utility, have that full tool belt, being that Swiss Army knife of learning editing, production, you know, storyboarding, having to do it all on your own, and just learning that whole craft yourself. But now, one thing I was talking about with a couple of people here on the podcast is about there is a change right now from celebrities not having the kind of the star power not being as the pandemic has really exposed celebrities not having the appeal like influencers do now. So people that are online doing their stuff on YouTube, doing their stuff on if they're using a Twitch channel or using TikTok, and finding the way to go ahead and reach that newer audience to tap in. When you've come from the original that, you know, going on the auditions, going the established Hollywood, you know, the way you get on the movies and TV, and doing it now and becoming a digital influencer, talking about the difference. I mean, did you feel like you were taking did people make you feel like it was a step down or no?
No, you know, not so much. I
It's not
think
a step down, but I can imagine some people might put that in your head.
well, yeah, that and I think you know what it is that at least I got to, because depending on where this all goes, where now, because I've been putting auditions on tape as well for quite a while. And that's
Hmm.
kind of what the casting process was. Before it
Right.
was you saw a casting director and maybe they didn't have cameras set up. So now they're just going based off of their recollection of your audition and then those, you know, recommend you for a callback or something. But casting directors were already putting a camera in the room, recording you, getting your lines on there, doing a slate, and then you go about your business after that. So now they just kind of took out the middleman where now I'm just putting my audition right here.
Yep.
If you like me and I have the potential for the part, then you'll call me in for whatever have you. But I think if anything now, it's just interesting, man. I think if anything, at least I got to experience that. because now in the future, there's a lot of people, like the next generation before me or after me, I mean, they're not going to experience that. They're not going to know what it was to walk to an audition and to go turn in your headshot and all those things. So now it's like more of like, I'll miss it a little bit and kind of, but at least I got that experience, because now I know how to do a lot of my own stuff. The ones who are counting on that, who are still maybe don't even know how to put a self-tape on. You know what I mean? So I'm glad I taught myself and got the experience from going to castings and seeing their setup and going, okay, you know what? I can do the same thing at home. I can do the same thing. I can set up my own equipment, put on my auditions. At least I'm glad it was more of a learning experience, and I'm glad I got taught to do it, you know? Great. So even though it may be like, I don't know, I think if anything, people could think like, oh, it's a step down. You have to, like, now they're picking this or picking that, because people are more easily gravitated toward views or towards how many followers you have, when some of those followers could be fluff followers. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not even real followers either. Like, but you just never know, man.
No, but I'll tell you, do you want the grind where it's not in your hands, or you want to take it where you have all the creative control to make sure that what you're behind is totally 100% what you want to do? Now, one of the things I can tell you is that when I look at what's going on in Hollywood since April of last year, the unions, the talent agencies versus the writers versus the actors, and just everything, this domino effect of everybody being on strike. And then the pandemic comes and makes it just even worse. But I see all this breaking up. The agencies are falling apart. They're breaking up. The Writers Guild and SAG-AFTRA and all these people are all kind of breaking things up. And obviously with everything that's going on with the Black Lives Matter movement, really diversity, equity, inclusion has been the focus this year. So with all this shattering the old Hollywood establishment, would you want to do a mix of keeping what you're doing with your own production work and still taking some side work in the meantime, because the environment's starting to break up? It's not as controlled as it used to be.
Yeah, I think if anything, we now have, every generation is supposed to leave something for the next generation.
Yeah.
And I just feel like had the generation before me really nurtured a lot of the business, a lot of the way they got to enjoy things, now leave some for us. So then we could leave some for the next one, because that's how it was supposed to be. Unfortunately, not so much now. So now you kind of have to take the bull by the horns and do your own thing. And I think this is why a lot of resources have been created, like the YouTube and the social medias and everything, because everyone wants a platform to be able to put out what they want to share. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, all right, so if you're giving me the resources here and this is what I have to do now, then I'll do it. Because you never know who's watching your content. You never know who you may be affecting. So now if you guys are just leaving me with these resources, kind of like when they leave you with the scraps and they go, okay, we had our glamorous Hollywood moment. Here's the rest of it now for you. And you're like, hi, what am I going to do now? All right, I'll just make they give you lemons, you make lemonade. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's not like, oh God, no. Nah, man, I'm like, you know what? I'm able to affect a certain audience. I'm able to put out and create. That's all that matters to me, as long as I'm able to create something. And then now I can make my own red carpet, and I can make if that's the case, I'll invite you, I'll invite other bigwigs and be like, hey, I got a short film premiering. You're invited to New York. We're going to invite you to this event, blah, blah, blah. Once, Rona restrictions are lifted, whatever have you. You know what I mean? I feel like now it's giving us a chance, because before it's so controlled. They want to pick and choose who you want to let in, when it shouldn't be about that. To me, it was always about talent, first of all. Of course. It shouldn't be based on, we're doing a favor for so-and-so because they're connected with so-and-so, or because this one is... No, it should be based on talent, because that's what I think movies that I've loved growing up watching and other entertainment, you stood gravitated toward it because of the talent that was in it. Not because so-and-so was in it just because they were hot for the moment, like the flavor of the month. Yeah. Nah, man, it was not like that. It was because they truly can act, or they could truly sing. You know what I'm saying? Now it's about, oh, they have 1 million followers, so we're just going to put them in this movie for 5 minutes. You know what I mean?
Merit performance. And there's a lack of putting that down there. And also because of all the things they can go ahead and do to manipulate or kind of help out, especially with music. It doesn't matter. It's an image they want to put out there. and they're more concerned about that, and they're also more concerned about trying to make money off of what made money before, instead of taking something, adapting from a book or adapting from a screenplay or something else, where somebody's got a new script that's around that could be a next winner.
Yeah.
But they don't want. I mean, you can have a mix of having the big blockbusters. Yeah, make your money, movie studios, but then you could also go and put some projects out there, passion projects, and or prop up some independent films, bankroll them so they can get out and get in front. Because those
That's
are the
right.
ones that make
Quality
Oscars.
project. Yeah.
Because people want that. That's what
Yeah.
they want more, first and foremost. Now, I want to take this, and I thought this was really interesting when it comes to acting and the grind to become an actor and to become successful. But again, it's the amount of work you got to go and take. So, Showbiz Cheat Sheet, they recently profiled actor Mark Ruffalo. We know from the Marvel movies, the Hulk, right? He first worked as a bartender while trying to get his big break. It took around 10 years. He says he went around 800 auditions that he went through, and not all those were fruitless. Ruffalo was able to land a few roles at a time, but it wasn't what he wanted to do. According to IMDb, he had a whole host of small roles in the 1990s, played one episode arcs in TV shows, did a few short films and features, but not as a star. Although plenty of actors make their living this way, Ruffalo didn't want to be one of them. He dreamed of winning awards and taking on starring roles. And luckily, in one of those auditions, Ruffalo met director Kenneth Lonergan, who would cast him in the 2000 feature film You Can Count on Me. The rest is history. Now, there's so many actors that can make incredible efforts to keep acting work, and your IMDb shows that same path. You've also been up to a decade with an impressive list of acting credits. But now you're focused on your independent work, and that's where you've been right now. Has a digital disruption. Now, is it really? Do you feel like you got that newfound freedom to where you can find more satisfaction in your own work without the need? I mean, the idea is, do you feel like what you're doing is more important, and that Hollywood might just be a paycheck now? It's not like, because it's not yours and you're just taking somebody else's idea. There's much more appreciation for what you're doing now of your own work, even though it might not be anything that be as widespread, or it could be promoted as widespread as Hollywood could.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, because when you're an actor on somebody else's movie or TV show, you're just a part of the equation. Yeah. There's a lot of hands involved in whichever project you're getting on, from the director. That's the director's baby. It's the writer's baby, the producer's baby. It's everybody's baby. And everyone's like, no, I want to own it. No, it's mine. There's a lot of big egos in the business, a lot. And that's why I guess they're always like, you got to be fragile with, but it's like, you know what, if you hired me to do my job, then you're going to feel like you're a part of it too, because you're like, but wait, you picked me because I'm a good actor, because I can embody this character. So let me feel like I have a little piece in it. But that's why, for me, I would always do my part, not get so attached, and then let them do what they got to do. You know what I mean? And then move on to the next project. That's why I always loved films, particularly, because films you might work on a month or two and then you move on. There's no attachment to it. With series now, you're a little more attached if they start bringing you back for recurring roles. And then even my show, I don't know if this might be my last season or if I'll keep doing it, but you get so attached to these characters. At first, I didn't even know if I could do this. I was like, can I even play these characters back to back to back to back? It's a lot of work, man. And sometimes there's some days I don't even want to see these characters. And I'm like, I don't want to revisit some of these characters I'm playing because it's too much,
Right.
But I just kept doing that. And I feel like, yeah, man, it's a fine line between at least I remember being with that other manager that I felt like she wasn't supporting me enough. When I finally let go of that, I felt like my soul was free to produce now, to create. Before, I felt like I was under lock and key, and it just felt like, then finally I got to do my own thing, and I said, whoa, this feels so much better. I feel like this is amazing now. Like, I'm finally adding a piece to the puzzle here. I'm showing them that a Latina can write, can direct, can produce. I can bring in other talents. I can bring in other people now who can showcase their talents and whatever have you. I mean, that's the way this business should have been formed, and it should have been going in that direction, not always plucking from the same people. And, but Hollywood can't complain either about, but now, y'all should let us in a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? Y'all should have let us have a piece too, instead of just having just one of each. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? That's how I look at it. And that's why I know people will be like, but why'd you do this? And why'd you do your own thing? And that because I had to. I had to
Yeah.
create something. Because why not? You know?
No, exactly.
Why
And
not?
the thing is, it's what's happening where you have so many less the amount of companies that are owning all the different projects or owning all the different companies, the movie studios and all, and just knowing that they're only going to let so much into the mix, and it's saddening. Now, one of the things I can also think is just I like the idea of where we have artists that come in and they can give a crossover. So one of the things I was going to ask you as well was just out of curiosity because you're also doing music. Um, there's always other routes that are very viral right now. So obviously, anything Spanish based reggaeton or just doing pop or just doing anything of that nature is getting really out there. Or I can always go ahead and take a flashback back to the '90s when I used to listen to freestyle music, like the Stevie B, Sweet Sensations, the Cover Girls, and things like that. Um, Real quickly, just out of the music you're doing, deciding to perform now, and you're writing and you're singing. Talk to me why you wanted to go the route that you did, because you're doing more of a pop sound, correct?
Yeah, it's a bit of a pop, I would say, and I'm also trying to incorporate a little R&B in there because I've always loved singing. I've always loved music, and that's another universe to connect with people. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like there's a big film and TV fans, but there's also music fans, and music is universal. And I feel like that's another outlet for me to be able to share what I want and to speak and be vocal. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like just like when I did One Big Dream, that one has a real kind of political tone to it.
yeah,
It got some pop, but it's a little political. You know what I mean? It's like telling the truth. And I felt like, but isn't that what makes an artist? Isn't
yeah,
that what an artist is supposed to be? It's supposed to be someone who's kind of speaking for the masses, for speaking for how other people feel. If you're feeling like a poem piece, I'm pretty sure other people are too. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm
yeah,
keeping it real. I'm being honest. To me, that's what always an artist was. It was someone who was unabashedly like honest and just putting it out there. And you're like, yeah, man, that's what's up. I like music like that. I want to hear something like that on that
yeah,
kind of like poetic term, just speaking your truth. And that's why I started making music, because I was just doing cover songs at first, getting my instruments in tone and tune,
yeah,
and I started that way. And I say, let me do a few cover songs of some songs that I like. And now let me make my own music. Let me create
yeah.
it. I can edit my own music video. I can film my own music video, even like the one Thinking About You just now that I did. I filmed a lot of that myself. My mom helped film it, and myself, because I have the capability and I'm able to do it. So I'm not waiting for a record label to come and give me the advance and say, here, now make us a music video, put us, do something. I feel like, why not work with someone who comes with something to the table? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because that feels like when you have a potluck and you're like, yo, did you bring something to eat? No, I ain't bring nothing. So why are you at this potluck? What happened? Like, where's your dish? Like, did you bring a bottle of soda at least or something? I don't know.
Right.
You know
Something.
what I mean?
Bag of
Like,
chips.
I would feel good knowing that I can work with a talent that's bringing a little something to the table. So now we can collab and create
Yeah.
something together, instead of letting someone have all the ownership and just give you a little piece. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's always going to be theirs.
So anybody's doing music these days, I would love to hear more up tempo stuff because everything's so down and just so slow, and I want up tempo back. Whatever it might be, just a suggestion for me, but I'm just a lowly suggestion here.
No, that's
From
good. I'll think about you when I'm creating the next song now. Something up tempo. Something up
yeah,
tempo. I
a
got
little
you.
120 beats a minute, something like that. You could there's a lot of that where you got like dance music now that has that with you just have a good voice, it goes and just blends right in.
Yeah.
Especially because there's just like something percussion. Give me a little bit of rhythm. That's what I want from my music these days. Now, back at the start of the pandemic, New York Times wrote that celebrity culture is burning, and this is what I've been hampering about for a while. And this has been the story that really I've really grasped onto. They said that the pandemic had disrupted relations among the masses, the elites, and the celebrities who liaise between them. They went on the right, quote, among the social impacts of the coronavirus is its swift dismantling of the cult of celebrity. completely agree with that. The famous are ambassadors of the meritocracy. They represent the American pursuit of wealth through talent, charm, and hard work. But the dream of class mobility dissipates when society locks down. The economy stalls, the death count mounts, and everyone's future is frozen inside their own crowded apartment or palatial mansion. The difference between the two has never been more obvious. So, what do you say about celebrities now that are handling the pandemic, jumping on Zoom calls, making TikTok and Instagram videos without the makeup, the glamour, and trying to connect your fans in a different way? Because I know that you're doing the YouTube. I didn't know, and I know you have Instagram as well. Talk to me what you've been able to do and how your fans have been able to connect with you in that route.
Well, luckily, before the pre-pandemic, I was already putting myself out there, even on IGTV. I was already using that to do a lot of my cover songs and sing live, because I said, you know what, let me sing live. I want to show that capability. I want to show my skills, and I want to just perform in that sense. I'm not going to wait to be on the stage or something, or, I'll just do it. You know, if I'm an artist and if I'm a performer, I'm going to perform. I'm not just going to sit at home waiting for an opportunity. I'm going to do it. And I feel a little bit like Bubba Gump, like when he was getting no shrimp and all the other boats was getting shrimp, and then there was a big storm and he was the only boat that survived throughout that whole thingamajig, and then the shrimp started coming in. And it's just funny, before the pandemic, I don't think I did so many Zoom meetings as I did pre-pandemic. Like, I mean, after the pandemic now, during the pandemic, I've done so much more. And it's just very interesting. And I said, it's like shifting something here, which is, I guess, in my benefit, it's good that I was already creating my stuff since 2016. I was already on YouTube, already making my web series and working with Instagram and stuff like that for like over 5 years now. And I've been doing it. So I felt like I was already prepared. And I felt when everyone now came on to Instagram, I felt that shift. Yeah. I felt it, because at first I'm like, hey, I'm singing, this is great. And then all of a sudden, hey, where y'all coming from? Like, it was like when somebody crashes the party and you're like, yo, but this party been going on. Where y'all been? You know what I mean? Like, where you guys been at? You know, y'all were enjoying y'all Hollywood stuff going on. And now y'all want to come and crash the party with us in a way. And it was kind of like, look, we'll welcome y'all in. But I think there needed to be more empathy too at the same time. Like, yes, we love watching performers. Yes, we need performers as a distraction. But it's okay if you don't put something on right away, or if you don't, you know what I'm saying? It's okay. You don't have to go and I got to do this now, and I got to just show myself on FaceTime to my fans, and you don't have to, you know what I mean? Just, if anything, I think you should try to relate a little more to what's going on. And everybody's entitled to their opinion. Everybody's entitled to say what they want and use their platform for whatever they want to use it for. I just wish there was a little more empathy and a little more transparency. You know what I mean? Like, if you know people are struggling, and I've been walking around New York, I've been seeing the food pantry lines, how long they gotten. I used to see some lines were like this small. Now I've seen them wrapping around the blocks. I'm seeing what's going on firsthand. These other people are not. So if you're not seeing what's going on, maybe don't speak on certain things, or don't say certain things that you're going to get backlash off of. But then again, I think this business too likes a little bit of both. They like bad publicity and good publicity. If some people can sleep at night with that stuff going on, then more power to them. But I would just, pray and hope that there's a little more transparency, man. Just a little more.
Yeah. They go on to write, quote, this compact rests on the celebrity's ability to seem to move easily between the elite and the masses, to be aspirational and approachable at once. And under normal circumstances, they're accustomed to receiving accolades for using their platforms, quote, or to raise awareness in the service of bland initiatives for the public good. But our awareness has never been so easy to rouse and misuse. Celebrities have a captive audience of traumatized people who are glued to the internet, eyes darting toward trending topics for clues for processing the unimaginable horrors looming just outside, and instead are finding Madonna bathing in a rose petal strewn bath. Stunts like Gal Gadot's crowdsourced famous person cover of John Lennon's Imagine, God, that was something else, was tone deaf in more than ways than one. And most of these people can't not even sing. And their contributions suggest that the very appearance of a celebrity is a salve, as if a pandemic could be overcome by star power alone. And one of the ironies of this moment is that though we feel less like stars than ever, they seem to feel more like us, or at least. So what they think it must feel to be like us, that's what they're acting like. The thing is, they've lost where they can't relate anymore. You're still grounded, which is the advantage for you. Um, so I want to find out, because of that, I mean, that's what makes the advantage for what you're doing right now. Do you feel like that was the one thing that always helped you out, was that you always were able to stay grounded, and thus staying grounded with your family? That's what the importance is, to keep what you're doing organic and legit and believable.
Yes, I agree with that. Yeah, totally. Being grounded. Because, like I said, there were moments in this business where I would got a little inflated. When you're on a red carpet and when you're at events and things like that, you're going to get a little inflated. It's going to be like, holy mackerel, this is amazing. But then you got to come back down. You can't always stay inflated like that, man. You can't always let your ego get the best of you. You really can't.
But so many do.
I know. I wish I could tell them all, hey, y'all need to chill down, take a chill pill. I wish I could.
I don't want to tell you you're washed up, but let's call it is, right? So that's the whole idea. And it's unfortunate because some people they've taken that and they've absorbed it so much, and they don't realize, either they find themselves on a comeback or they don't, and they just live off and just take the devolving popularity they have, and it becomes nothing. And I would never want to go and have it be that way, which is most important, being grounded. Now, there are those celebrities that have been able to embrace different cameras over social media in a successful manner. And that's the one thing I think has been great, is that there are those celebrities, there are those people that are famous that have found their way to be successful and to continue to just be relevant throughout. So, for instance, J-Lo, Gordon Ramsay, Jason Derulo doing work over at TikTok. Great stuff. Cardi B, Bella Thorne, Real Housewives of New York star Sonia Morgan, thriving at OnlyFans, doing adult stuff over there. Talk to me about how you've taken on staying busy and adapting to keep active with your work and still connecting with those who you follow. So is it mostly Instagram you still work with and all you're doing on YouTube? What other routes are you using to stay connected to your fans? What are the regular things you do right now?
A lot of what I do is, I notice, because using your social media is kind of like a focus group in real time. You know what I mean? It feels like that. So if you're posting certain content that works, it's like you're going to hear feedback from your fans like, hey, we want more of this, or, oh my God, this is amazing. And then obviously seeing your view count go up for certain things, you're like, oh, I think fans like this a little more. So now I feel like this year alone, I started dealing more with my own music than I was years before. Years before, I was just focusing more on my one-woman show and then the jobs I'm getting. But now it's more in the music realm now. So then I started figuring out my voice there and like seeing that works. I think it's about trying to keep up too with, maybe they got bigger bills, you know what I'm saying? So they got to go and, do other things. They got to go and get other channels of revenue to, to keep up with the Joneses, as they say, you know what I'm saying? Like, listen, if that works for you, you want to go on OnlyFans, you want to go on the TikTok because they want to be relevant to the younger generation and all this have you, that works for some people. I don't work out of desperation, or I don't work out of like, I gotta be known. I gotta always be in the media. I always gotta be, this. I don't work like that, because if you do, it's just, I don't know. It doesn't feel good, man. You know what I'm saying? It just does not feel right. I think if you're happy with what you're doing and you feel good about your work, then let whatever comes naturally is going to flow into your life. Now too, I'm working on vlogging. Like my brother, who's 10 years younger than I am, he's of a different generation. He was like, Steva, I want you to start vlogging because I think people should know what you're doing. Like they'll be interested knowing the behind the scenes of what you're working on in your everyday life. And I said, okay, that's interesting. I'm going to actually start working on that. So like today I just started that, and I said, you know what? I think this is another source now for me to start going. Like let people see Steffa the actress and see what her life is like, because I was always a little more private. That's another thing about me too. I'm a little more private. I may be out there with my social media, but I don't show a lot of what I go through behind the scenes. I normally don't, because in this day and age, there is no more privacy, it looks like. So I try to keep a shred of that, just a little bit, because that's how I stay sane. You know what I mean? I don't think like I said, I love performing and people love to see me perform, but I'm not so like 24/7 where I got to do it all day, every day. I'm okay with that. Like that. I've stayed grounded in that sense. Thank God. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for the other ones that are out there doing all that stuff, if it works for them and they're happy doing it, go ahead, do your thing. Like,
But then again, you're under control. You're working with your family, so like the influence is different. It's not like it's a kind of a full cash grab where agents and
my sister
managers.
told me, she was like, I better not see you on OnlyFans stuff. Don't do that. Don't go that route. And I said, okay. She said, if I see it on your phone, I'm gonna delete it. And I said, okay, all right, I'll stay off of OnlyFans. I got you.
Maybe you Twitch if you're a gamer or something like that. Maybe that'll work. But I mean, yeah, come on, all right?
Exactly.
God, man. All right, I want to ask you two more things. I want to before we wrap things up. L.A. Times recently reported that Lin-Manuel Miranda, John Leguizamo, and One Day at a Time creator Gloria Calderon Kellett are among 270 showrunners, creators, television and film writers who are calling for systemic change in the entertainment industry in regard to Latinx artists. The group of writers and producers outlined their concerns in an open letter to Hollywood written in conjunction with Hispanic Heritage Month. And among the 5 demands laid out, the writers note the importance of hiring more Latinx talent, including in the decision-making roles like creator/showrunner. Quote, no stories about us without us. When it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion, what do you think about the Latinx movement and the kind of advocacy some of your contemporaries are proposing?
You know, it's interesting because I go back to my brother, right? I don't know if he would be in that Latinx movement generation.
Yeah, I don't get the Latinx thing. I mean, it's, you know, I know they want to put that out there. It's kind of like how it was always positioning for like people that are more Caribbean-based Spanish to be positioned to more the La Raza, more the Mexican, Central America kind of thing. And there's too much difference there. There's a diversity within the Hispanic community on top of that. Even calling it Hispanics not even like the rest either.
Yeah, so. My brother, he's 24, and he told me too. He's like, no, I'm Latinx. Like, you know, he's not with that for some reason. I kind of agree. Listen, I'm Latina. Tú eres Latino. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what we Latin. Like, to me, that's what it is. And I feel like now with this Latinx, you kind of want to whitewash over what our culture is, man. You know what I mean? Like that. I get passionate. I got Hector Lavoe right here.
Oh, baby.
I don't play. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo soy Latino. Yo soy
Cantante. Yeah, man.
I know my roots. I know where I'm from. I know where my ancestors are from. You want to talk about us? We Latino. Just say that. Just say straight up, man. That's what we are. We're not here to make it sound better for the man. Oh, Latinx and Latinx. Like, what's this Latinx? No. I understand too, because it's supposed to be gender neutral, right? Is that what that is? The Latinx to be like Latino, Latina? No. What if they're not male or female? Listen, I don't know, man. Then just call yourself Latin. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, but I'm happy too when any Latino or Latina uses their voice. When they use their voice for us, thank you. Whichever fashion form it is, thank you. And the best thing I could say is then create content. Create your own content. If you are who you are in this business and you're Latino, Latina, and you've made a name for yourself, then just create some shows or films that can incorporate us. No, what was it? No us without, no show business. What was that?
They said no stories about us without us.
No stories without us about, right. So you know what? Then we create our own stories with us. You know what I'm saying? And you know what? I ain't got nothing either against whites, blacks, whatever have you. If your story is going to incorporate them, then just incorporate them. Just bring them in there. I don't think about that. I don't think about, well, this person's that. No, just if they have the talent, if they got what I'm looking for just because it fits this part or whatever have you, then that's it. I'm happy with it. There has to be no other narrative. I'm not here trying to cram down people's throats, accept us now, accept Latinos. No, man. Look, we all been here. We're all here. We're all just trying to create. We're all just trying to share our talents and our passion. It shouldn't have to be, well, these few Latinos are talking and these few Black people are talking. No, man, we all a part of the collective. And I think if anything with this pandemic, it did show that we're all the same, man. Yeah. Some people got a little more in their pockets, fine. But, and I think the veil has been lifted. It's just like the Wizard of Oz. When the wizard's behind the freaking mask up there, that guy, the face, he was behind that curtain the whole time, hiding. And now that has been lifted. He said, no, don't look that way. Don't look over there. Don't pay attention over there, But I think that's what it was now. Everyone came on like, afraid of losing their fan base or something that they had to come on social media and had to do all this stuff. And you don't have to. If they need to listen to their fans more too.
Yeah.
Listen to the people, because they're telling you, look, we ain't asking for you to do an Imagine video. We're not asking for you to do this. We're not asking for none of that stuff. We're not looking for anything major like that, man. Just bear with us too. Sympathize and empathize a little more. That's
we're
all
not a box you check. We're not a race that you're going to position as a pigeonhole us. Because look, I know if in New York City, you know, Dominicans and Puerto Ricans and the Cubans, and we're all different cultures, but we all speak Spanish. We all connect in some ways, and we're all different cultures, and I love them all. That's all there is to it.
We all bleed the same at the end of the day, man.
Absolutely.
We all bleed the same at the end of the day, man.
Well, Stephanie, I love this interview with you. It's been great to go and talk to you this last about hour or so. Before we wrap things up, go ahead and talk to our listeners. Let them know what you're doing. I know you've already finished up season 5 of Steph A One Woman Show. What are the things you're working on? Tell people where they can go and connect and learn more from you.
Yeah, man. Well, actually, I have like 4 more episodes of Stuff I One Woman Show. It's just a few more there going on. I know. I usually make 7, so I try to commit to that number. My mom always said, do 7. I said, okay, I'll do 7. It's a good lucky number, you know what I'm saying? And so I have just a few more of those. I'm going to start vlogging, so a lot of my fans can get a more in-depth view behind the scenes of my life. And I'm making another song within the next couple months coming up. And hopefully I'll make it up tempo for Jorge here, because 120.
Which is a thought, you know.
No. I got you though.
Have you done TikTok yet?
You know, I did post something on a TikTok there. So I do have a TikTok. I think I named it the same thing, my Instagram, at Stephanie_Andujar_. I only put 1 post up so far with my One Big Dream video there, a snippet of it. So I can try to make some.
If there's any comedy you want to add into that, because obviously the 15, 60 second comedy kind of stuff you could do out there, that also rolls really good. It resonates a lot with people.
Yeah, man. I'll get on that too. It gets a little exhausting. I'm not gonna lie. It gets a little like, oh snap, now I gotta get on this app and this app. And
well, just if there's certain things you think you could do that might not fit for the one woman, it might not work for a longer form, and you think you could just take this little idea and just drop it in, that's what I would say. Not necessarily you have to create, but just like when there's something you don't think needs to be that big, it's just a good nugget, just drop it into TikTok.
All right, I got you, Jorge. Thank you.
I think you could do that. There's a lot you can do, and that thing is whatever you feel like doing. And I'm glad that you're independent. Independent creators, filmmakers, you know, musicians. I love all that, because my thing is, it's the message I want to bring out there is that you don't have to just follow. There's only a certain route you have to go. Listen, take both. Appreciate where you're going on both routes. That's what's most important.
Word, I agree.
Well, anyway, and then please go and plug where we can go and find all your projects and where we can find you on social media.
Yeah, Instagram at Stephanie_Andujar_. And they can also go to StephanieAndujar.com, because all my social media is linked there, and you can just find everything there. Andujar Productions YouTube channel.
Fantastic. Stephanie, thank you so much for being on with us. I got to run.
Thank you, Jorge. I'll see you on Twitter.
I
started following you on Twitter.
Yeah.
So I'll start, hitting you up there every now and then.
You got
now
it.
that I know who you are,
And I'll put this out in a couple of weeks. So thanks so much for being on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Jorge. I appreciate it, man.
All right. God bless.
Take care, man.